Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Jake here, and despite being a channel where I talk about a lot of comic book related characters and their games, their films, their TV shows, some animated things here and there, and what have you, I haven't actually talked a lot about the comics themselves all too much because, if I'm being honest, I've been kind of far removed from them for a while, with the occasional bright spot here or there that just happens to catch my interest, and the topic of today's video is absolutely one of them. And I'm talking about Absolute Green Arrow, which we recently got a kind of a description of what that's going to look like, and also when it is going to launch. So for anybody who doesn't know what the Absolute Universe is, it's basically these reimagined, revamped, and radicalized versions of our mainstream characters, and essentially kind of like DC's What if you will, for anybody who's familiar with that on the Marvel side. And they take their origin stories and especially their character designs and just go hog wild with them. And if you're going to be different, then you might as well go all out as far as I'm concerned. And they definitely went all out with a lot of these characters. Now, I don't read every single Absolute comic that's going on. In fact, the only ones that I really keep up with are Batman and Flash, and there are some occasional issues that I'll catch here and there for the other characters, but when it was revealed that Absolute Green Arrow was getting a series, I wasn't exactly sure how that was going to go, because for you guys that aren't aware, the Absolute version of Oliver Queen got absolutely destroyed by Hawkman in his debut comic. He got absolutely bodied. He survived for a total of 3 pages, if I'm counting correctly, and as a massive Oliver Queen fan, at the time I was really disappointed because I'm thinking, oh man, this sucks. It would have been cool to see, them take Green Arrow's origin and do their absolute spin on it. Well, now it seems like that's what's going to be happening, and here is what we know about everything regarding Absolute Green Arrow, and I'll link the source for this in the description as well in case you guys want to go read this for yourselves. And basically it goes like this. So he is his death at the hands of Hawkman does still stick. In fact, it does factor into the plot, but he comes back in a zombie form, if you will. So a zombie Green Arrow, and kind of in the vein of the CW's Arrow in its early seasons, where he goes after a list of people who wronged the city and are just kind of draining the city piece by piece. In this Absolute story, the zombie Oliver Queen comes back and goes after people on his own list. Instead, these are the people that conspired to take him down and kill him. And just when we got that first bit of the synopsis and the images that I'm showing you guys throughout this video, when we got that alone, I was already hooked, because that is an incredibly interesting way to do a character like Green Arrow, where you have, the familiar bit with the CW where he's crossing names off of the list. So for those people whose only exposure to Green Arrow was the CW, there's that bit of familiarity there. But also, like I talked about with other Absolute stories, they're going absolutely hog wild with his origin. I'm probably going to use that adjective way too many times in this video, but it looks absolutely insane. And there's this investigation where we see what the Absolute version of Dinah Lance looks like, who is Black Canary in this, and you're seeing the images of her here. And she's kind of gonna be what Quentin Lance was in the early Arrow seasons. She's investigating this merciless Archer's identity, and I'm really confused as to how this is going to go. I say confused, but also heavily interested, because Green Arrow and Black Canary are one of the most iconic couples in really any comic book media, and their first introductions here is going to be against each other, which that's been done before, but never in a way such as this. And it's been said that this series is going to take a slasher horror tone to the Green Arrow mythos, and the villain that we have is called the Absolute Hunter, which, kind of like Arrow's first season again, is kind of a dark mirror to Oliver Queen, and almost a dark reflection, if you will. Someone who uses his same arsenal of a bow and arrow, and who looks similar to him and goes after his own list of individuals, but for a completely different cause. We know that this is going to release on May 20th of this year, 2026, and it's been said that in certain articles this is going to have a, in terms of the different billionaires for the Absolute Universe, that it's going to take kind of a theme from the film I Know What You Did Last Summer, for anybody who's familiar. And this is really, really interesting. I know I've said that a good bit too, but I just have no idea what this is going to look like from the synopsis. I can go, on and on about what ideas I have, what storylines they could adapt, what characters they could follow. Because when the whole Absolute Green Arrow thing got revealed, we didn't have this synopsis yet. It came like a day or two later. But when they said Absolute Green Arrow was getting his own story, my first thought was, is this going to be Roy Harper or Connor Hawke? Someone who, both of those people have become the Green Arrow in Oliver Queen's stead before. And, I thought maybe, are they going to be the main mantle bearers this time while Oliver Queen sadly doesn't exist? That was my thought going into it. But I am so on board with just this premise alone, where, Oliver is essentially back from the dead. How they're going to resurrect him, I have no idea. They could bring in something like the Lazarus Pits from the Absolute Batman side of the world to connect those universes more. I don't actually know if they've introduced those yet in the Absolute comics or not. Feel free to confirm in the comments whether or not they have or haven't. But that's something they could definitely do to bring him back if they wanted to, because for anybody who knows what the Lazarus Pits do, kind of like what you saw in the CW, they bring the body back, but the soul of the person who goes into it is completely gone. So Oliver Queen would just kind of be a soulless husk. But this version of Oliver that's back in this story is going to be driven by, this mission to take down the people who really conspired to kill him, which is kind of how the Lazarus Pit plays in, again, I'll use CW as a reference, where anybody who goes into the Lazarus Pit, their main drive is to take down the person who killed them in the first place. And whenever that person is gone, for example, then there's not much hope for the person. They found questionable ways of writing around that. But I'm really curious as to what's going to bring Oliver back in this Absolute story, how he's going to behave, what other characters from the Green Arrow mythos are we going to see him interact with? What are some of the designs for these different characters going to look like? Because as of right now, we really only know about Green Arrow and Black Canary. I'm curious to see, what Absolute Roy Harper, maybe Merlin if they bring him in, some of the other villains like Red Dart, Richard Dragon, some of those characters. I'm really, really interested to see what's happening here. And I said at the start of the video that I've been kind of far removed from comics for a couple years now, just because I haven't been keeping up with them and reading them day by day as much as I used to. But this is one of the few spots where I'm definitely doing my best to keep up with what's happening, but I'm just not always able to. But I'm really feeling a drive with the Absolute stories that I have read, and just based off this synopsis alone, it has the potential to be my favorite out of the, what will at that point be 3 that I've read. So yeah, I'm really curious to see what happens here. We are going to get some answers in about 3 months from now. As I said, it releases on May 20th. And if you guys want, maybe more updates whenever issue releases, I can do like breakdowns of the issues for you guys if you would like that. Or if you would, maybe just want my thoughts summarized in a short or a full-length video, definitely let me know how you would want that kind of content. And yeah, guys, I'm really excited for this. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Are you reading any of the Absolute stories right now? Are you looking forward to Absolute Green Arrow? Do you think you're going to get it? What characters do you want to see them introduce? What story beats do you think we might see? How do you think Oliver Queen is going to be brought back? Let me know all that stuff down in the comments below, guys. With that said, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. If you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button. Go down in the comments and leave your thoughts there. Share this video with your friends and family. And smash that subscribe button if you want to see more. Peace out, guys.